Well, hello there guys, Agrippa Maxenius here coming at you with a first look video at the game Nantucket. As far as I understand, this game is essentially based off the novel of Moby Dick, or at least it's closely related, and it's basically about whale hunting. But we also apparently have to fight pirates, as well as a number of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and actually take a captain here. So I get to, of course, name the captain. Now let's keep in mind that this is definitely a early access, well I should say a beta version of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and give the name Agrippa to my captain, interestingly enough. It looks like I need to select one of the traits, and I'm going to go ahead and just mouse over them. So of course there are hunters. They can stand on a whaleboat's bow sailing towards danger or face the wickedest pirate without hesitation. We've also got sailing here, so we can add to sailors. Science, which allows us to unlock some knowledge about the world around us, and of course crafting. And I think I'm probably going to go for sailing. So I'll go ahead and select that, and I also get to select an additional trait. We can take strong, smart, old sea dog. Let's click that for further info. 50 HP regained during navigation, healthy, 1 HP for level, and open-minded, plus 1 HP gain per day of navigation. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and take the strong trait, and considering that sea creatures are being mentioned here, well, I can't wait to see essentially what we're up against here. As far as the portrait, I don't see any actual button to change the portrait, so I guess we just get this one. Fair enough. Let's get started, guys. So it looks like tips and tricks. Alright, so already I really think the setup is interesting, and I've also kind of detected a possible Lovecraftian touch to this, maybe a little bit of Cthulhu. Nantucket, take out your map and look at it. See how it stands there way offshore, lonelier than Eddystone Lighthouse. Welcome to Nantucket. This tutorial will introduce you to the core features of the game, and of course, since this is a first look, I am playing this game for the very first time. After speaking with Captain Bildad and Peleg, you get a job on the whaling ship Pequod under her captain Ahab. Oh, is it the same Ahab? I think it might be. Your friend Queequeg is at the tavern when you get a chance of shipping out with you. He told you he has killed more whales than you can count. Meet him at the tavern. Alright, fair enough. So we're going to go ahead and we jump into the tavern here. So this is interesting. This is a place where we come for a drink, and there's different tabs here. There's cabin boys, there's hunters, sailors, craftsmen, etc. So we're going to jump to the hunter tab here, and I guess this is Queequeg. Alright, so if we can select the character, we can check his stats, and we can actually hire this guy for our ship. So I'm going to go ahead and hire him, and now, of course, he is part of our wonderful, wonderful crew. Bildad asks you to reach the Master Shipwright's office and order some improved harpoons. Fair enough, so let's go to the shipwright. We want the harpoon upgrade, and I'm really liking this. So as you can see, there's several different parts of the ship. We've got hammocks, sails, shelving, all sorts of stuff, and clearly this ship is just a standard clipper, but I'm assuming, just by looking at this, that there's going to be other ships we can unlock. We've got $900, which, assuming this is the era I think it is. Oh, it's 1818. My goodness, it's actually earlier than I thought it was. $900 is a lot of money. So we're gonna go and research that. Okay. And we've upgraded our weapons. Okay, on your way back to the tavern, you meet Peleg. He's in a hurry to complete the preparation to weigh anchor and passes you a shopping list, pointing you toward the merchant's shop. So fair enough, we need to go to the shopping list. We need to buy 20 water barrels. So this is really interesting. I'm starting to really like this. It's actually almost giving me a sort of like, I guess, Oregon Trail feel, where, you know, I feel like I need to stock up for the journey. We need to buy, let's see what else here, 10 food barrels, all right. We're also going to buy 3 grog barrels, and of course you know sailors are not happy without their grog, and 5 wood barrels. I'm assuming this is to help patch up the ship in case it gets damaged. There we go. Alright, now we're ready to set sail on Pequod. Before reaching the ship, you stop to buy a newspaper, knowing that it will take months before you will get fresh news again. The newspaper contains news from all around the world and information you can use during your travels. And of course, this game takes place during a time where whales were used, their blubber was used for a number of reasons. Of course, lamp oil was a big one, and a really fascinating time. Of course, now I wouldn't recommend anybody hunt whales, as they're quite endangered. Now, this is also really interesting. We get a sailor's post, and we also get information about wars of the era. So this is, of course, the time when the British were actually fighting the Maratha Empire in India. And we even have British Admiral John Ross set sail in search of the Northwest Passage. And explorer Giovanni Bolzoni explores the interior of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Of course, Giovanni Bolzoni was an Italian explorer who actually discovered this. So we have to discover a new whaling area. Various exploration ships have reported the presence of large quantities of whales in Baffin Bay. Could become a new hunting area. Let's accept, guys, and we are going to go and set sail. Here we go, guys. We're sailing away. So far, I gotta say, I'm really liking it. I mean, we haven't even really gotten into the game itself yet. We've just kind of gotten in like the pre-game phase, and I love the atmosphere. You know, I've never ever played a game that focuses on whaling. I mean, it's just a really interesting thing to focus on in a game. Okay. While you're working to release the sails, Pequod's first mate Starbuck approaches you. What is that? Are we playing Battlestar Galactica Deadlock again, or are we playing Nantucket? You're ordering to tell Flash to come to the deck and wait at the steering wheel for Captain Ahab's command. Very well. Open the ship management interface to interact with the crew. So I'm guessing this is the ship management interface. Cool. Put Flask in the quarterdeck slot. So this is the quarterdeck slot. His name is Fadala, not Flask. So let's put him back. Queepeg is the guy we got. I'm not seeing anybody named Flask here. That's kind of the irritating part. Unless you guys are seeing this. There's Starbuck. I'm not seeing Flask here. Ah, there's Flask. Okay. So we're switching them around here, and we'll go to next. Okay, interesting, guys. We've got different actual areas we can go. Navigation requires both planning and on-the-fly responses to the sea's dangers. The winds rows below you show how the wind is blowing at the moment and the directions to take in order to sail windward. The filter above allows you to check the global wind patterns, meaning the most common winds in specific areas. It's kind of cool. So as you can see, it's actually showing us specifically where the wind's going. And I guess this is where we have to go. Open the quest filter. We have to select the quest available and press the go to quest. So discover a new whaling area. Pretty straightforward, and we get $200 just for completing it. So I'm going to go ahead and select this new destination. And 7 days to get there. We basically get there by right-clicking. And then we confirm the destination, and let's go next. Wow, very cool, guys. So we're already on the way. You can see our resources are, of course, going to take a little pounding. And as we move, we actually, it seems like we discover new areas here. While navigating, you will have to deal with events that are triggered by your choices and the current status of your men and your ship. Your choices can have huge consequences affecting the crew and shaping your character. So Captain Ahab walks out of his cabin shouting orders to Starbuck. His wooden leg echoes like a war drum. Oh, this is Captain Ahab. As he reaches you, stops watching you work. Hey, kid, you have clearly no idea how to scrub a deck. Do you know at least why you're here? We want to learn to kill whales. That's simple. Good, cries Ahab. And, of course, we all know Ahab hates whales. That's why he lost his leg. So here we go. We're, of course, heading towards this whaling spot. And I really want to see how the actual whaling part of the game works. Okay, here we go. Lookout spots a creature blowing in the distance. Whaleboat sent by Captain Ahab confirms that this is the place you were looking for. So for those of you that don't know, with modern whaling ships, the harpoon is basically at the front of the boat. I think it's probably the same here, but one thing that I know is absolutely the case is during the time of whaling here in the early 19th century, basically what people would do is they would spot the whales, and then guys would go out in smaller ships to check to see if the whales were there. So we're going to go ahead, we're pressing the next button, and interesting, okay. So we have to select the Queepeg. We have to select Queepeg, I should say. And I guess Queepeg will be the one that is doing the combat here. Put Queepeg in the whaleboat. Wow, so this is what I was telling you guys about the whaleboats. As you can see, we wouldn't just automatically fire from our main ship. We would actually have smaller boats on the ship that you could actually put some men in and send out. So I'm going out with Starbuck as well as Queepeg, and we are going to begin the fight against the whale, guys. So far, it looks like water, or I should say weather, definitely affects this. And this is a narwhal, so there are many different kinds of whales. You could also use the horn of the narwhal as a sort of ivory, which is, you know, it's kind of sad, but this is the way things work. But it's composed of consecutive turns, fair enough. So let's go ahead and roll, and we are, of course, on the Nantucket. The creature threatens Stubbs' whaleboat. Starbuck decides to move in to help, moving the whaleboat into the creature's line of attack. Use the evasive maneuver command to remove the creature's attack by selecting the command with the left mouse button and then the enemy's card. It's a little confusing. So left mouse button, and we're going to go ahead, and the enemy's card is going to be right there. Sure enough. Okay, round 2, guys. Alright, so we can select the hunting side of Starbuck. And it's pointing to the cabin boy dice, so I'm assuming that this is the hunting side. And yes, it switches over to the harpoon. Let's go ahead and roll. Queepeck steps to the whaleboat's bow and aims at the charging creature waiting for Starbuck's command. Attacks deal direct damage to the enemies. Harpoon damage is related to a character's hunting attribute. So we're going to select the strike command, and we are going to hit the whale here. Okay, 13 HP, and she is dead, guys. The day is ours, the waters cause churning and return to normal. You raise your arm and the victory cries of your men surround you. Wow, so we got a narwhal. That's got to be worth it. And look at that, we can actually take blubber and meat onto the ship. Now, like I mentioned before, these narwhals, they're not as big as a blue whale, not even close. And actually, they're quite hard to find. I think they're probably endangered. These are essentially, they used to be called the unicorns of the sea. And I actually didn't even know that they were considered prey animals here. But obviously, I think just about anything that can provide some whale blubber is going to be worth money to us, guys. Sailing across the ocean, you may discover whaling areas. Spots in the ocean where specific types of whales go to feed or mate. Every area is active for 3 months out of the year, and during this time window, you may be able to use it as a hunting ground to collect precious blubber to sell. Amazing, guys. So, it looks like we can show or hide the whaling areas. Let's go ahead. So we already know of one, and that's going to be this area, the narwhal area. And we'll go ahead and press next. You've now learned the game's basic mechanics. By bringing the mouse cursor over the interface elements, you can access tooltips that will help you during your adventures. Now go back to the main deck. Captain Ahab wants to speak with everyone. Ooh, interesting, guys. Here we go. Wow, I didn't expect we were going to get a cool video here, but I guess we are.
Drink, ye harpooners, drink and swear, ye men that man the deathful whaleboat's bow. Death to Moby Dick. God hunt us all if we do not hunt Moby Dick to his death.
Oh, there's Moby Dick.
Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm. I was cursed twice by the Lord for my blasphemous promise to hunt Moby Dick, and by Ahab for surviving the Pequod and its sons swallowed by the sea. I was craving to conquer my spot in heaven by striking my iron in Moby Dick's heart. So I headed back to Nantucket, looking for a new ship and wealth-seeking sailors.
Really cool, guys. So I guess this is where our story begins, essentially. And I'm guessing we have to probably go ahead and purchase an entirely new ship. As you can see, our starting ship here, it's not too big. It's a tiny, tiny little ship. And we need to go ahead and purchase this one. It's nowhere near as big as Captain Ahab's ship, and it looks like it's going to be a lot tougher to hunt whales with this thing. But I'm excited. I mean, I already liked the introduction to the game. I think it was really well done. Again, this is just a beta, but I could see a lot of promise in this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and especially if you liked the video, please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. We mostly do strategy on this channel, and I would consider this a strategy game for sure, but I'd also consider it a sort of storytelling game and maybe even an indie game of sorts. I don't think I've ever seen a game that has you hunting whales. That's definitely a little bit controversial, and I could probably expect the YouTube police not to like this video very much. Thank you again for watching, guys. Take care, and I hope you'll pick up Nantucket in your own time.